The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Everything okay?
Thank you, Tally Olson. We are back. New York Met Baseball in the Zone. I'm Ralph Tycho with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and the two hosts / mavens, Met mavens at that, are with us. Marty Rose, how are you?
Very good, Ralph. How are you?
Good. I'm getting along for an old guy in a small town. I'm doing what I can do. Robert Cole, how are you?
Doing good for a small country boy.
A small country boy with allergies.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope you get through it. I know it's windy where you are in Florida. You guys are both in Florida. I'm in Alameda, California. And we're all three native New Yorkers. We've been with the Mets for all these many years. And going into a season, there have been very few years where I've felt as confident as I do now in this Met team. Prove me wrong. Let's go around the horn and see what we got. Starting at first base, I'm sure you are both satisfied with Pete Alonso.
Yes.
Sure. No question.
Good. He's terrific. Solid there. Second base, question marks in the sense that we have what I call an overabundance of talent, which is to be coveted, but deciding where the playing time goes is going to be something. You got McNeil and Cano. You got what's his name? I call him Dougie Flynn.
Escobar.
Is he not? Okay. I was thinking of Guillorme. He is a good ball player. He lends depth, and I see him forcing the issue somewhere along the line. It's good to have him. Shortstop Lindor's been terrific all spring. I think he's gonna have a good year. Let's put it that way. Couldn't have a worse year than last year. So.
Well, he's had a great spring so far. So
right.
476 at the moment.
And defensively, he's been terrific. I listen intently, and having a good year. Escobar at third. What do you guys think? I know very little about him. Robert Cole.
He's solid and steady. He should hit enough, and he should play a good enough third base to be able to play there almost every day.
Okay. What happens to J.D.? What's his name?
Davis.
J.D. Davis. Boy, my memory. Is he going to be able to contribute off the bench with very little playing time?
Well, yeah. Don't forget you have the DH, and most of the other DH candidates are lefty, and J.D. Davis is right-handed hitter.
Yeah, very well put. Very good. Left field. Marty.
Well, you have
I think Cano will go over there.
Cana's been playing left and right, both. So,
and they're going to give Marty more time in right, and with Nemo in center, they are looking good. Catcher.
Well,
McCann.
He's going to be here for another few years, but tell you the truth,
Alvarez.
Alvarez is,
coming along.
At least a year away, maybe two.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the Nito has been, to me, Nito's been getting better. I don't know if you guys think so, but I think he's been hitting better. I like his defense. I might even like him better than or as much as the starter. I think he's been playing really well.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
Yeah, he has.
The one problem with him is each of the times that he's got an extended playing time, he's gotten hurt. Last year, if you remember, when McCann was hurt, Nito, started to play every day, and then he got hurt, and then they had to start scrambling, bringing all those guys up from the minors. Mazika, yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm an optimist, but there's no way they can be riddled with the injuries they were last year. That was unbelievable. I mean, they were doing quite well and looking to be contenders through the bulk of those injuries, but it just caught up with them.
Yeah, it can't happen 2 years in a row. Very unlikely.
No, very unlikely. And knock wood, the spring has been, with the exception of a Marty oblique, which he seems to have recovered from, health-wise, they are terrific.
Yeah, I think the real questions right now are who the extra players are going to be. How are they going to handle having 28 players for the first month?
Right. Dom Smith is doing very well.
Well, he's definitely either a DH or a spare outfielder, against righties for sure.
And it turns out that he was injured much of last year that nobody knew.
Right, they kept that quiet. Yeah, he could break out. He could.
That would really be sweet. Let's go to the pitching. I've never had. They've never had 5 guys healthy in as good a rotation as this seems to be. DeGrom and Scherzer, could
Bassett,
be. Bassett, Billy the Hill McGill.
Well,
I
don't know about Walker and Carrasco, though. Walker and Carrasco, to me, are questionable. Carrasco didn't pitch well tonight either. So I think McGill should definitely be in the rotation. And I guess Peterson's the only lefty.
Yes.
So I don't know. He may get starts against primarily left-handed hitting teams.
They played Miami the other day on the radio. There was an analyst. I think he's a former catcher. I didn't catch his name, but he was talking about the Mets pitching staff and glowing about them. They're starting to get, all over baseball. They're starting to be looked at as a first-rate contender. So,
they deserve to be. based on, their starting 9, so to speak, with the DH. And, you have 3 top-rate, starters. All 3 of those guys could be number 1s on other teams. So, yeah, they deserve to be, but we have to see how it plays out.
Okay. It's always been a sore spot for the Mets, the bullpen. This could be a deal breaker for contenders. Marty, why don't you start?
Well, if we start from the back to the front,
right.
I think if you have the same 8th and 9th inning guys as last year, which they do, being Lugo in the 8th and Diaz in the 9th, that's good as far as I'm concerned. That's very good. And among the other guys, they were pretty decent. There wasn't anybody that really stunk. I mean, these guys, Castro and Reed Foley and Drew Smith, Trevor May, these guys were pretty good. So
they just got overworked a little bit last year. That was
right.
the problem.
Right. So, with the better rotation, these guys shouldn't get burned out by the middle of the year.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Did either of you catch the double pitching bonanza with the other day with DeGrom and Scherzer?
Went 3 and Scherzer went, I think he
6.
went 7. Oh, 6.
Six.
I did hear that, yeah. That was very nice.
That was, yes, as a Met fan, that was very, very nice. You dream of situations like this. You just got to say injuries can happen, and not to get too excited because of that. I liked Alvarez in spring training games. I know he was optioned, and I know he's down the road, but it's nice to know there's a good prospect as a catcher in your organization, because let's face it, injuries happen, and he won't be called up this year, but developing him will be something to watch. And he hit a ball the other day that went over the left field, whatever they call it out there, and he just
berm.
Yeah, but what is that? What is the origin of?
It's why is it called that? I don't know. It's just a grassy,
It's
bunch
a grassy
of grass
knoll.
that people sit.
Right.
Grassy knoll. Yeah, people sit on with blankets out there.
Yeah, speaking of grassy knolls, I think I was the first guy on the internet to, when Trump got elected, I suggested they drive him by a grassy knoll for his inauguration. And looking back, it would have been a great idea. But politics aside, Robert, what do you want to talk about with the Mets?
Well, two things, okay? One, I'm a little concerned with the way they're using Scherzer right now. I mean, first start, 5 innings, second start, 6 innings. That's rather extreme. And then when you consider the guy was tired last year and couldn't make a start in the playoffs. So, that worries me a little bit. And I heard that both Scherzer and the agent told the Mets that he likes to be aggressive early, and that's why they're doing this. But that still concerns me somewhat. And then you have the problem where right now they don't have a left-handed pitcher in either the starting rotation, unless Peterson makes it, or they bring somebody up, like Shreve, and he'd have to be put on, the 40-man roster. So right now,
I think he will, Robert.
Yeah, well, you almost have to.
Yeah.
Either him or the what's that other guy's name? Claudio. Alex Claudio is also lefty. So one of those two guys should make it. But that's a little concerning because teams are going to stack left-handed hitters, against the Mets almost every day.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I cut myself off.
Okay, I hear you now.
Okay, good. I didn't hear what you said after talking about that you're worried about Scherzer, Robert.
Then I also mentioned that right now, as we speak, there is no left-handed relief pitcher on the staff. And, Marty said, that Chase and Shreve will probably make it. And then I also mentioned Alex Claudio is also a lefty. But one of those two make the team, they have to make room on the 40-man roster. And they already made room on the 40-man roster when they picked up that guy on waivers yesterday. So, we have to see how that works.
Picked him up from Miami. I can't remember his name, but Miami has one deep pitching staff, so that they're not exactly getting chopped liver, even though they cut him. It's a good pitching staff, so that was encouraging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And every little bit helps. Marty, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm just really concerned about, like I said earlier, I'm not all sold on Carrasco and Walker as 4 and 5. I'm pretty sure that McGill will be either 4 or 5, and one of those two other guys. I don't know what their contract statuses are, but like I said, Carrasco didn't pitch well today, and Peterson, like we had said, he's the only lefty. So after 1, 2, and 3, I think there's a little bit of concern. But you could probably say that about any team.
Right. Do they consider themselves set, or is there still a possibility of a deal?
I haven't seen any rumors about any deals.
There's always that possibility, but nothing. There's no smoke right now. Let's put it that way. So,
right. Let alone a fire.
Yeah. Other than the A's wanting to get rid of those other two starters, Montez and the other guy. So who knows?
Right. If you're an A's fan, and I have sympathy for them, I live about 10 minutes away from their ballpark. So, and it's very nice to have an East Bay team, but I won't go to a game this year. I think what they raised the prices of tickets. They absolutely decimated the team and raised the price of tickets. What are they telling the fans? That's nuts.
They're probably gonna move, Ralph.
I think so.
And I think that's what they're telling the fans is don't come out. So this way we can say we have to move because of low attendance, and they'll wind up in Las Vegas most likely.
Most likely. Tampa's always had the same problems as the A's: a ballpark, an attendance problem, this, there, and what's happening with them?
Well, there's a lot of political upheaval. They're still trying to get a ballpark in the Ybor City, Tampa area. That's considered the most viable area. Probably get the most attendance that way. But there's a lot of infighting right now. We have a governor that, he's going to go whatever way he thinks he can to get votes. So it's hard to say. And, they wanted to build a spring training complex in Pasco County. And they have the money set aside for it. And now, all of a sudden, there's a big move to do away with that. So we'll have to see. Politics is going to play a big part in whatever happens with the Rays.
The Montreal fiasco fell through, am I correct?
Yes.
It could be one of the next expansion teams, though, Ralph. A lot of people are talking about adding 2 teams and going to the NFL format of 32 teams and 4 teams within 8 divisions sometime in the future. And I've heard Montreal being talked about. I've heard Nashville being talked about.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, that could be, like you said, the A's could move there very easily and not lose a lot of fans. So yeah, that all that stuff's a possibility. Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, I got to ask you guys this. I've been asking all the baseball fanatics on the network the same question in one form or another. They're talking now about a minor league experimentation with the bases to make the bases not only bigger, but less, not 90 feet between bases. Which, if they end up doing that, it obviously skews the record book. Not that it hasn't been bastardized enough, but if a runner hits a ground ball and gets thrown out, it's not the same as a runner hitting a ground ball in 1975, as an example. So how are you going to have record books? How are you going to have continuity in the record book?
But did they give the dimensions, though? I mean, they said they're going to move second base closer to home plate. Well, what are they talking? 6 inches, a foot? I mean,
it would reduce 16.5 inches between bases.
Wow, that's like almost a full stride, basically.
Right. Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So how the hell are you going to? I do have a point on this. I've been thinking about it. How in the hell are you going to compare Maury Wills to whoever it is a great base stealer in the past, in the future?
Well, in reality, it's been like that all along. I mean, every time something changes, you really can't compare decades anymore. You can't compare the 60s to now.
So, but this is different. 90 feet between bases has always been the gold standard, the way it was. This changes everything, really and truthfully.
So did lowering the mound. You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
when they did that.
they do that every few years. They put it up and down, depending on whether they want the pitchers to have the advantage or the hitters to have the advantage.
Well,
They do the same thing.
Same thing with the baseballs.
Right, I was just going to say that. Same
we
thing
know
with the
for a
baseball.
fact. They
that's right.
them, they unjuiced them. Yeah.
But the other thing too, Ralph, is they're throwing a lot of stuff kind of up against the wall. Last year, a lot of people didn't even realize it. In the minor leagues, they pushed the pitching mat, the rubber, back 6 inches, and they were actually throwing 6 inches further than normal. Now they've scrapped that this year. So they're trying all kinds of things, and they're trying to see what may or may not work. It would change things, but we have to see. It's only in the minor leagues.
Yeah, here's another thing. Pitching, it's just 6 inches back. But as in tune as these guys are, and as perfect delivery as it is, can 6 inches screw up a guy's arm?
Sure.
Okay. So these experimentations, it's like the mice, the players are like mice in a lab.
Well, in the minor leagues, yes, and that's where they do these things. They've used the Atlantic League, which is an independent league, but has a partnership with Major League Baseball, and that's where most of these things get tried out initially, is in that league.
Yeah, but you can't say that no bad comes out of it, because they tried out the runner on second, the phantom runner, in extra innings, and all of a sudden it appeared in the majors.
Yes.
So some of it sticks, is what I'm saying.
But don't forget that the players' union has to agree to these things, and some of these things, the players' union not going to agree to. Now, part of this past contract was that Major League Baseball can enforce a couple of rules, and that's the extended bases with, I think, 30 days notice. Normally, they have to get an agreement and 6 months notice. So, but you're right, that as that old song was, the times they are changing.
I'm just not, the 90 feet thing really got me. Because that was always the basis of it all.
Always. Right.
So I'm a little depressed over that. But and Marty and I disagree on this. I think it was fine having a DH in one league only. And I think at least we saw pure baseball in the National League. And if they weren't going to get rid of it completely to please me, which they weren't, I wish they had it in both leagues. That's and I know it, but it did make for some strategy. I know it was crazy, but a team would have to prepare. A National League team would have to prepare when they were facing an American League in interplay, which I would be all for, either eliminating or doing what they're going to do, trying to balance the schedule a little bit. That starts next year, where every team plays every other team. And I don't see anything wrong with that per se. And you might say, well, how about teams that are forced to play, for instance, the Pirates? Well, the Pirates won't be bad every year, so it will be, every team goes through changes, and that doesn't bother me so much.
My point about the DH, Ralph, was that every young player coming up that's a pitcher has not hit since high school. And when they have to come into the National League and hit, it's not fair. And they have to run the bases, they get hurt. Just not having the hitting experience for maybe three or 4 years possibly, and then all of a sudden they have to come to bat. I didn't think that was right, and that was my deal with that. And I'm glad to see the same in both leagues. Now, I would have been happy if it was the same the other way, but I think it's got to be the same. One way or the other. Can't be different in two leagues.
Okay.
Interleague players, of course.
What if a National League team before the DH, or in preparation for the DH, had their minor leaguers use, or I don't know. What if a National League team 5 years ago had their minor leaguers not use the DH in the minors, so the pitchers could become accustomed to hitting? There was a lure. They could have done that. They didn't, and I think that having a DH removes a lure. There were good hitting pitchers and horrible hitting pitchers, but a few good hitting ones and a few mediocre ones. And some guys like Spahn and Don Newcomb played big parts in ball games.
They helped themselves a lot, no question. Yeah.
Right, and that expression of "help yourself, kid," go on, come on, kid, help yourself. It's just that'll just disappear, and that's I liked it the old way.
I agree with you, Ralph, but I also agree with Marty. You had to do it the same way in both leagues, and they guys that were pitching stopped hitting. Even in high school, even in Little League, you started having guys, all they wanted to do was pitch, and they didn't worry about their hitting. So it got to the point, and to your point too, several years ago, Ralph, in the minor leagues, when the National League affiliate played a National League affiliate, okay, they did have the pitchers hitting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So I sit corrected on that. Thank you, Robert. You're remarkable source of information, as usual.
Yes, it's got me very far, Ralph.
Yes.
Lonzo hit a 3-run homer tonight.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
3-3.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many innings did Carrasco go, Marty?
Less than 3. Oh, 4. He went 4.
Okay.
4 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 homers in 4 innings.
Okay.
His ERA is 6.75 so far. Ottavino, scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts. That was a good pickup, Ottavino. Oh,
it was that was an excellent pickup.
Yeah, New York guy, and he'll go right into the 7th or 8th inning. definitely. So,
Yeah, I mean,
really...
you've got him and you got May, and Castro. So if somebody goes 5 innings, and that's going to happen, you can pick up, boom, 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 go right, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh
yeah. I think we'll all agree that there's reason for optimism this year.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
All right.
The Braves lost Freddie Freeman. The Phillies helped themselves quite a bit. Washington shouldn't be a problem. The Braves without Freddie Freeman, that's going to hurt them. So
okay, and the thing with the Phillies is they have no defense. They got a lot of offense now, but who's going to catch the ball? And that's going to come and bite them.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Hey, this is a good show tonight. Thank you. I got a lot off my chest because I'm really not happy with baseball with a big B very much these days. So that the Mets are doing great, it's nice, and I love talking to you guys.
Same here. It's always fun.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you both. Thank you for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, the New York Mets in the zone. One of my favorite teams. My favorite team. Be well, everybody. Happy trails. Adios.
Good night.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned Network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.